Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. We're excited. We have another Black Label Supplements athlete, Trevor Campbell, joining us. Today we're going to get to know him a little more. What's going on, Trevor?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, doing good. So we're going to jump right into this. We don't need a super long introduction, I don't think, because you're going to tell us about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm Trevor Campbell, and I do amateur strongman. 28. This is my first open season, so my next contest is in 4 weeks in Lancaster. So we're going to see how that goes. Really shooting to get for nationals this year, so that's out in Colorado next year. So been working really hard for the last few months. I got a good coach this year, Taylor Falk. Guy is crazy. He's nuts. He has like the weirdest stuff I've ever seen. Like I have to deep internet search 90% of the stuff he programs, but it works. Works great.
Usually that's what works the best, is the unconventional stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest part of the training for him, doing for me, is because being heavyweight, 275, but I got to be able to move quickly. I can't just stand in one spot for the most part. I mean, I do fairly well with the static movements, but his big goal is to be able to, non-fatigue. Like he says, we're not allowed to lose for, fatiguing. So.
Yeah. So do you do a lot of conditioning then? Is that what you mean? So like
a lot of strongman conditioning. Like everything's usually weighted.
Yeah.
But a lot of event training. Like sometimes I'll go out to his place and we'll train together once in a while. So something similar we'll do is like we did like an echo bike for X amount of time, as hard as you can, and then go out and do a keg carry. Dang. And then take a 30-second break in between that, because your lungs won't get the time to recover from that.
Yeah.
And then
it's just different type of conditioning.
So it's conditioning, but it's conditioning.
A step up.
It's your style of conditioning, right? Every sport has their style of conditioning, so that's good. And I should have mentioned before too, for those that watch the podcast more, usually Troy's with me. This is Adrian.
Yeah.
He's
I'm usually behind the camera.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird being in front of the camera, because I'm always like, man, I look dumb, but I guess I look good right now. I don't know. But I always, it's nice to be in front sometimes, because I get to like see you guys. But I was gonna ask you, is it kind of intimidating? Like to other people, you're a big guy. But when you're in the strongman competition, you're like, dude, like, I'm like, how do you compete with somebody who's like bigger than you, taller than you?
One of the big things with me is like, I'm small, I'm 5'9", and so a lot of the guys in the heavyweight class are usually much bigger, and that's what me and my coach work together with, is just, if I can't be bigger, I can try to be a little faster. That's what I'm going for.
Okay.
Nice.
And you probably have advantages in certain events versus others, right? I mean, there's always that trade-off.
Pressing. Shorter guys, I've noticed they're doing a little bit better in pressing. And I like to deadlift, so that works for me, but it's not really anatomically the best thing for short guys. But still, I mean, you find your advantages. I mean, the only thing that really is a disadvantage for being, under 6 foot and being in a heavyweight class is probably the loading events. Like anything you're load, like the 54 inches, that's the biggest disadvantage, but you just figure it out and work through it.
Because it's a set height for those things, right? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yep.
Cool. So tell me, Trevor, you're in Pennsylvania, right?
Right.
What part of Pennsylvania you're from?
Dead center, right in the middle.
Right.
Montanden's the town I live in. I grew up around the area. I grew up in Turbottville. It's best way I describe it is, if you know Williamsport, PA, where they do the Little League World Series.
Yep.
I'm about 30 minutes south of that, and then probably an hour and a half north of Harrisburg. So that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. I've only been to Pennsylvania a couple times. Been to Pittsburgh once, just in and out, and then actually that might have been the only time I've been there. So I don't know a lot about the state.
With you trying to be a strongman, what do you what is your diet consist of? Do they have you doing like high calories? Does it matter? Like, are they specific? Like, hey, we want you like as much as protein as possible. Like, are you in any like sort of like restrictions, or is pretty much eat as much as possible?
Taylor has me. He does my nutrition as well. So basically, it consists of just decent portion of meat, lots of vegetables, potatoes, good carbs. It's nothing astronomical. It's nothing. I'm not eating boatloads and boatloads of food just because I don't want to over. I'm still in like a weight class, so I don't want to go over my weight.
Oh, okay.
But it's mostly a lot of beef, and I eat a lot of ground turkey, but that's my preference. I don't have to, but it's easier for me to cook and quicker for me to cook. So I eat a lot of that. And then it's probably 4 or 5 meals, sometimes 6 meals a day, depending on the day. Like usually Wednesdays is my off day of training. So I'll usually fast until about noon, 1 o'clock or so. And then I'll have a nice big meal of like eggs and beef, and then continue on to about 8, 9 o'clock at night. And then the next day wake up, and then I'll actually eat my, breakfast before training, stuff like that. Because I work weird hours, so I can't say my breakfast, but it's my first meal of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just depending when I can get in.
Yeah. So and it sounds like you're fairly strict with that, or?
Yeah, I try my best to stay with what I can. I mean, sometimes, I'll have something off program, but I'm not going to go eat like 17 cheeseburgers from McDonald's or something like that. I mean, I might have something like a cookie or something, you know what I mean? But being a heavyweight, I've talked to him about it, and he said, as long as you're within the diet, and you don't have to hate your life, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for now, it's getting closer to contest. I'm trying to keep it best as possible.
Yeah, it's really interesting as we I'm an athlete, and as we talk to different athletes in different sports through this podcast and just get to know you guys through the Black Label Athlete Program, it's really cool, the spectrum of, I wouldn't say skill levels, but like levels of athletes. We have, your recreational athletes all the way up to professional athletes in the NFL, right? And it's the recreational athletes are surprising. It's surprising to me to hear how strict you are on following that nutrition plan, which I think is super awesome, right? It not only is it great for your sport and your performance, but really it's great for your life. Eating pretty healthy with your occasional cookie or Coca-Cola, which I love. You want to enjoy those once in a while, but it's just a good lifestyle to live. And it sounds like you're along the same lines of a lot of the other recreational athletes that are in our program.
Yeah, because I was always told that's most of the work is your diet. Yeah. And if you can go train 2-3 hours a day, eat like garbage, you're still gonna get some size on. You're still gonna be pretty strong, but you're not gonna be as efficient.
Right. Not like full peak, I guess you would say.
Right.
That's what's hard for me sometimes. I'm like, man, like you have to go the whole circle, because like if you go and do a really good workout, you can, like I said, you get stronger, but like you need to put more protein in your body so that your protein, gets rebuilt, and just like everything. And then also calorie deficit is being under low calories so that you're losing fat, but also being on the high protein so that you're still gaining muscle when you're working out. But I agree with him. Like I think it's kind of cool because we interviewed somebody who's in NFL. He like trains, through summer camps and all these stuff. Like he trains pretty much like almost like pretty much a full-time job. Mm-hmm. And then we did another one with an MMA fighter, and they're totally different like athletes in their own aspect, right? But the other one is like we would have never thought that's what you go through, like running like every day, running 5 to 10 miles a day, and then after that you would eat and then go work out for a couple hours. Like it's just like they're all like it's so crazy how much in their training regimen. Like same thing for you, like you take do 1 day off a week. You're pretty much you're lifting throughout the whole entire week, and you're training and you have a trainer and everything like that. So I think it's just cool to like dipping our toes into something that we would have never thought about seeing,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, right? And it's so tell me, you mentioned you work weird hours. What is your job?
I'm a machine operator in a factory, so I work 12-hour days. I work a decent schedule, but I work a swing shift.
Yeah.
So it gets challenging a lot of the time with consistency. So like I try the best I possibly can. But it's, especially when I'm on my night shift rotation, it is so difficult to get in and get like a constant, being consistent.
Yeah.
Because like say now I'll work 3 days, 12-hour shifts at night, and then I'll have off 2 days. So then I'm back on the kind of like a normal human schedule. So I'm trying to figure out my diet throughout the day, doing that, my training and all that through the day. But then I jump right back to nights, for another 2 days. It's challenging. It's really challenging. I wish it would be more consistent, but it's what I can do, and I do my best. So
For sure. Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges for us that are like in my position. I'm considered an elite athlete, but I still have to work to supplement, like pay the bills and stuff like that. So that spectrum of knowing or having to time your food, because you probably can't just anytime you feel like it leave your station and be like, oh, I'm gonna go get some food, right? You have to time it based on your break.
I throw a fit sometimes. Like if I try to stay in with like 3 hours, 4 hours, and that's about what our breaks fall under.
Oh, that works out good.
I'm pretty good with everybody I work with. I'm the same person inside work, outside work, in the gym. I'm the same person all around, and I like to joke around, but I'll sometimes throw a fit. Is what a lot of the guys say. I'm like, hey, 12 o'clock. Like I'm starting to wither away to nothing here. Can we? I need to go eat.
Yeah.
And if worst case, if we're super busy, honestly, because a lot of the people know I've been into the sport and I'm very passionate about it, and I like to make sure I do everything right. Sometimes I'll actually have someone cover me for a couple minutes so I can actually go to the break room, grab what I need to, and I can eat it on the floor.
Oh, that's super cool. You have a lot of support.
It's a really supportive group of people I work with, so that really helps.
Yeah. Have you got anybody to come work out with you yet?
Yeah. Weirdly enough, my cousin's fiance works with me. I got him in.
Nice.
He comes and trains with me once in a while. Yeah, he actually works with Taylor, my coach as well. So I mean, he's in it to kind of get in better shape, be healthier than yesterday, that kind of thing. So it's good for him. He's doing pretty well.
So what got you into the sport? Like, I mean, like, were you just like lifting normally, and you're like, you know what, maybe I should just take it a step above, or like, were you watching competitions on your phone? You're like, dude, like, I would be sick to do something like that. Like,
right. Now, I grew up, I think like everybody has, you watched World's Strongest Man as a kid, or just something on TV, you watched that. And I always thought it was cool. I never thought anything about it because I didn't know how easily accessible it was to actually do the sport and train. So I started building a gym in my garage, and I wasn't really doing nothing with Strongman. I was just, I want to get in the lifting, and then with COVID and everything, gyms were closed, so I said screw it and started building. I had a little power rack. I got one of those Dick's Sporting Goods specials, like 300 pounds for $300. And then I bought some adjustable dumbbells off of Amazon, and then I got a spin bike. I found one for free, just something small. So I dealt with that for a while, and my best friend, we've been friends since, what's it been? 9th grade, 8th grade, somewhere in there. And we were out talking the one time, and he's like, well, would you ever consider Strongman? I said, like the stuff on TV? He's like, yeah. I said, no. I said, that's too much. Those guys are huge. He's like, no, they have weight classes. I'm like, oh, okay. So we started looking into it. And then I started kind of training myself a little bit. So then I started buying logs and Atlas stones and kegs, and
cool.
We kind of did that whole thing in my garage. So one thing kind of led to another. So he my best friend Brody, he's definitely the one that really got me into the sport, and he goes to all my competitions with me. He's kind of like my pit crew guy. So like he knows the sport so well. He's very, very smart. He's just not a really big competitor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So he's definitely like my second-hand coach. He's the first one that's on call. Like if I'm at a contest, or he'll even come to the gym with me out here and lift and stuff like that. And he's always the one to push me, give me that extra oomph. So I definitely owe a lot to that guy.
That's pretty cool, dude.
That is really cool. You talked about, I think I saw something on Instagram a while back that you had previously, before you started Strongman, you had a struggle with, like, I don't know if it was your health or just your weight or your size or whatever, and you mentioned something about how Strongman has allowed you to grow as a person, be more healthy, but also utilize your size.
Right. I grew up, I was always a big kid. I was always overweight. people would, you know, I mean, how high school kids are, everybody would pick on you being a fat kid and stuff like that. So I went to the gym regularly, like not regularly, but I would go in after school. A couple of friends, we'd hit weights. I didn't know what I was doing. We were kind of just grabbing stuff and running with it. And then I got out of high school, and then kind of everything kind of went south with that. I kind of put it all on the back burner. I worked for my uncle for about 4 years doing construction. So, like, I was still keeping, like, a strength up, but I was super unhealthy. And then one day, you know, I had a different career choice at the time, and I said, you know, I was probably 260 pounds at the time, 270, somewhere in there. I thought I was really out of shape. Like, I couldn't bend over to tie my shoes.
Oh, man.
And so I said, you know what, I got to lose some weight. I got to do something. So I cut down to, I think it was like 216, 217, something like that. I forget exactly. I think that's what it was. But I was hardly eating. I think I was eating maybe 800 calories a day. Dang. And then I was going to the Planet Fitness for like an hour. Again, not really knowing what I was doing, kind of just getting and hitting basic movements and stuff like that. But I felt horrible. Like I felt gross.
Yeah, that's not
so
enough food, man.
You probably burn that much calories a day, to be honest.
I probably burn that many calories a day just walking. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of calories.
But you have mental toughness, obviously, because that's not easy to do.
No. Like I was eating. I think. So I'd eat eggs and egg whites in the morning, and then I ate so much greens. I was eating kale salads and sardines, dude. Sardines are nasty.
Dude, I never gotten enough courage to build up to try one.
Oh, dude, you gotta soak them in what was it, spicy honey mustard. It's the only way. It's still gross, but
or not just eat them. I just eat tuna. Yeah, I like tuna.
Yeah. I've learned that, but yeah. So I lost a lot of weight, man. I was small, but it wasn't good. It was just I didn't feel good, like, and then I was just so tired of it that it kind of it wasn't sustainable. Mm-hmm. So I kind of quit cold turkey with everything because I just got tired of it because I just didn't feel good. Like I couldn't lift nothing. Like I was lucky if I could probably chest press, like 45s, dumbbells.
Dang.
I was lucky if I could. So then I just stopped doing it, and then I got super out of shape. Like I hit 295. So I went from, I gained so much weight. Yeah, I gained a lot of weight. And then, I wasn't doing the right stuff, you know what I mean? I was younger. I was, partying and doing all that kind of stuff. So kind of didn't have no structure with it. That was my biggest problem.
You say you're doing 40, you couldn't hit the 45 dumbbells, but you were literally eating nothing. So all of what your body was running off of was your fuel, like carbs. So you didn't have no carbs, so you're just burning probably your muscle.
Yep, I had no knowledge. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. No. You just thought, eat less, I'll lose weight, you know what I mean?
Yep, and I did. I dropped a lot of weight really quick, and it wasn't healthy. Yeah. Physically, mentally, a whole nine.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that, because obviously you have some mental toughness, but that's I've never went through that, so I'm sure that was way harder than I can even imagine going through those swings. But you got into Strongman, you figured it out, and then I saw just recently you're starting to hit new PRs in some different lifts.
Yep.
I bet you're stoked, right? I mean,
I am
feeling good. You're eating good. You get to cheat a little bit, but you're eating good. You're lifting good, and you've got a competition coming up.
Yeah, I feel really, really good. I feel like this is the best shape I've been in my whole life. I feel mentally, physically. It's not. I usually hit PRs probably every 2 weeks at this point, just because I'm
just trying to push for that.
How my
Black Label Supplements, man. You've been joining us and kicking some butt now.
Yeah, I mean everything's been going really, really, really well. I said my coach's programming is really unworldly. So whatever he's doing, it's working.
Yeah.
I've put probably my log press alone, which I was terrible at. I was horrible at log press, and I put probably 40 pounds or 50 pounds on that in the last 2 months, probably. Like, I was lucky if I could hit 200 and like 205. Now I could hit 240 and not think anything about it.
That's freaking
Man,
crazy, dude.
Congrats.
I'm over
dude.
here like I hit like 100-pound dumbbells, 120 dumbbells, and I'm like, like chest press, and I'm like, that's heavy. But I mean, I can only imagine how much you have to lift, Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's fun though too, so that makes a difference.
Yeah. And that, like, hitting those PRs or just seeing success, that breeds success, right? You get stoked and then you work harder, you dial in your nutrition better. It's like, and I know that's what I've seen, right? When things are starting to go well, you're like, oh, I don't need that extra cookie today because, like, things are going good, right?
Yeah, that's extra motivation for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like you have super good support system with your coach. Obviously, we love having you on as an athlete, and supplements are a small part of it, but they do help with that little extra. And then you also have some other partners. So I think having that support system, the people at work, has been super helpful and fun for you too.
Oh, absolutely. I have really good.
When's your next competition? Do you have any competitions coming up?
Yeah, PA Strongest Man. That's getting held down in Parksburg, PA. It's actually ran by the McMillans, and they're going to be having that at Victory Brewing. So that's September 9th at 10 o'clock. So that's going to be a fun time. It's going to be really well ran. And the thing that's not really the best thing about being amateur heavyweight is there's not a lot of people that really sign up for amateur open heavyweight. There's a lot of people that'll sign up for, middleweight, like 230s, those kind of guys. There's a lot of people signed up for those. But unfortunately, I think there's like probably 4 of us in the heavyweight class, but the weight is heavy. So I was talking to my coach about it, because he knows the business. He knows how Strongman works. And I was like really discouraged. I'm like, man, there's not really a lot going on. He's like, you're showing up. He's like, it's heavy. It's a really heavy contest. So
yeah, that alone weeds people out, right?
What's that?
That alone weeds people out from doing it. So obviously you're doing it.
Yeah.
And then getting, like you mentioned, it's a national qualifier. So
Correct.
The farther down the road you get, obviously the more competition and the more people are going to be in there. So that's cool.
Yep. So looking forward to it. It's got a lot of running events. So a lot of medleys. There's a yoke, Zercher to yoke carry, a keg to sled, and a back drag, sandbag to shoulder, and then it has the log and axle ladder. So there's that, and then we're gonna have, that's a state record 18-inch deadlift. So we're gonna see how we do with that.
Cool.
But that's your favorite. No, you like deadlifts.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I suck at deadlifts, bro. I have friends that are smaller than me and they're like lifting heavier, and I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know how you do it. I just don't know what you're pulling with your legs or your back or both. Like, I think it's a mixture of other things, but like, I feel like I'm always doing it wrong. But I can lift the weight. Like I can pick it up and probably move it. But when it comes down to like doing a deadlift, I'm like, all right, I feel weird.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the practice, right? You probably, like you were saying with the log, you weren't that good at it. You just kept sticking to it and learning the technique, and it's helped you better. So.
Yep. Yeah, he was. Coach was always on me. Like he's brutally honest, but productive at the same time. Like he's gonna, hey, let's try this and try this and try this. And it came to the point where my friend Brody and we went out to my garage for probably an hour and a half just to figure out the log clean and how to keep my rack position to where I'm supposed to be. And I had him, he just sat by profile and just watched. And he's like, nope, do it again. Nope, do it again.
That's pretty sick that he knows.
This went on for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
No, get on the log, just empty log, just kind of get the gist of it, how it worked.
The motion.
We'll have to get him hooked up with Adrian and teach him how to deadlift better. Yeah. I don't know how to deadlift either, so
yeah, I need some help with deadlifts, bro.
He teaches both. That's cool. So going back to, I just wanted to bring up, well, I guess first of all, it sounds like you find out your your events for your competition like way before. It's not something that they tell you like the day before, so you have time to prep for it, right?
Yep. When you go on, you can go when you register, you go on Iron Podium, and then it'll have events from 2 sanctions because you'll have your U.S. Strongman and then you have Strongman Core. So you just go down, pick. Say like I picked that one because it's local. It's pretty. It was a nicer contest, and it's in September, so it's not going to be super hot.
Yeah.
But then I looked over the events and everything. I like the event. Sometimes you can look on there, and if you see an event like you really want to do, it's okay. Then you just register on there, and that's how you do that. So I've known for a couple months now.
That's nice. So you can train for specific things, which is good.
Correct.
Cool. So I got a couple random questions. I saw, and I appreciate this because I grew up on a dairy farm. I'm a farm boy, I live in the country. So every once in a while you'll post a clip of you like driving a tractor, or feeding cows, or something random like that.
Yep.
Do you have family that lives on a farm, or?
So yeah, my family had a farm most of my life, and then unfortunately, I got put on set aside and stuff like that. So I was kind of out of the jig for a while. But now my girlfriend's family, they have a pretty decent sized farm. They do grain and corn, and they have some cattle out there. They do British whites and Angus. So I like to go out there and give them a hand, and it's just nice to get out, and it's what I love to do. It's along Strongman. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, it relates well to farming. Strongman does, like, growing up on the farm, I know you're always carrying random heavy things and chasing calves and picking them up and throwing them around, so it makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's super rewarding. Like I love it.
Yeah.
So.
And probably a good mental break too. Like I know when I'm out and we have our county fair here now, so I took our kids out and just walking around, and I don't get a chance to do a lot of farming anymore, but I still live in the community, and so just being around it, I love it.
Oh yeah, it's good for. I have a 2-year-old son, and he loves them. That's the first thing he wants to do all the time. He wants to go out and see the cows. So we'll take him out there, and we'll do feeding and let him play and stuff like that. So it's really good for him to watch and learn.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I don't have a lot of other questions for you. I do want to make sure that we talk about a little bit of supplements. We talked about nutrition, and how supplements just are a small part of that, but a beneficial part of that. And how you started using our stuff over the last month or two. I'd love to get your feedback, and then I'd also like to have we'll talk about, you have a discount code people can use, which also supports you as you start to train for some of these and hopefully get to nationals, and it'll help, as people use that, help fund your trip to nationals next year.
So I started taking the Pure Power and the beta alanine. I take that before I go out to the gym. I take the Pure Power on my days off just to keep that constantly flowing.
Yeah.
I love it. I obviously I wouldn't have reached out to you guys for this if I didn't. I'm not gonna get behind a product that I don't stand behind.
Right.
My coach actually introduced me to it a few months ago, and it tastes good. It works. I feel a lot better during my trainings, and I feel like I can go a lot longer during my trainings. So that's definitely worth the money.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? I mean, if we can just get that little bit extra every training session, that adds up over time, right?
Yeah. What flavor do you like? I mean, we have the hibiscus lemonade, and then we have the.
That's the one.
Yeah, you like that one? That tastes like.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
It's refreshing. I love it.
It's weird because we kind of took a risk with that. Like, I knew I love Pure Power. Like, I tested it on myself for over a year before we even created like a flavored version of it. And then we're like, like everybody likes peaches, so let's do a peach ring thing. And then somebody suggested like a hibiscus lemonade. I don't remember if we were at a Mexican restaurant or something, like that's a very Hispanic flavor. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what if we just did a random, like, just see what happens? And that's been the best seller. Now we have sour watermelon, which tastes super great, but still that hibiscus lemonade, besides it being like the bottle sucks to get in, so you kind of got to get around that.
We already have a new version of it.
And so sorry about that,
Yeah, but I think I was surprised because I was like, what is, I'm Hispanic, bro. Like, I'm from Texas, you know, Tex-Mex, I guess. And I was like, I've never heard of hibiscus. And I was like, maybe I'm not even just like looking for it, you know,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just asking for regular lemonade. But I tried it and I was like, oh, it's pretty good. It's, you know, it's a little bit different. But I like Pure Power line the most. I mean, I like the pre-hustle, but I just like Pure Power because it's pretty simple. Because no matter what, like if you're just trying to drink more water, you can just, like you said, like on your off days, you can just put it in water, and it's just pretty much like a Crystal Light, you know.
Yeah.
But you still get your
Yep.
5 grams of creatine, and you still get the peak ATP to kind of just give you some endurance. But you're not gonna crash, or you're not gonna be like so hyped up where you got to go do something. But it just kind of gets you through the day. And beta alanine is perfect to mix with it. Like I like the whole, that's like a perfect mixture. Like when someone's like, I want, you know, pre-workout, but I don't want like X and X, and I'm like, dude, like
Like the caffeine,
Yeah,
right?
and then-
Especially in your swing shifts, like that can really screw up your sleeping patterns, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and like they're just like the overall mixture of flavors and everything that's in it. And I'm like, dude, just Pure Power. Like we have a new one, it's called Sour Watermelon, and it's the smaller bottle, and I like it a lot. And I'm like, dude, just mix this with beta alanine, and you're chilling. Like you're pretty
Yeah.
good, you know.
It's I love it. Like I don't like the super high stem. Like I know some companies like you get it's super high stem. Like it makes me feel like your heart's going to blow out. I'm not. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to keep my heart where it's at.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. That's cool. So yeah, what's your code? Like we can let people know, and there's also a link on your Instagram as well. But if anybody,
Yep, the code's Keystone. Just all caps, Keystone.
Perfect. Well,
And then I'll link it all, like with your link tree. I'll put it in the description on YouTube.
Yep.
Anything like I mean, wasn't tell you. I was thinking like, what is like? Oh yeah, let us know your next competition, so maybe we can hook you up with a shirt that has like, you know, your name and like Black Label on it, so maybe you can use it in your next competition. Hook you up with some gear or something. But do you, any like advice you want to give somebody, or like just someone to talk to, like say like, hey, like I want to get to Strongman, like what would you tell somebody that like, or like curious about it, or like, you know?
Yeah, just do it. Just reach out. I mean, if you know someone that does it, get a hold of them. They'd be more than happy to show you the ropes, get you into the sport, because everybody wants to grow the sport. They want to grow it right. So if they want people that are actually going to do it, and like you don't have to, you know, train to be, you know, world's strongest man or go to OSG, any of that stuff. You can just train to have fun and be healthy. It's all functional. Because my coach, he has his because he has a garage gym. He does stuff out of there all the time. I have my own garage gym. Nick Hine, he's right in Bloomsburg, about 25 minutes away. He's one of the best. He's one of the best in the world. He just did number 3 for America's Strongest Man a couple weeks ago.
dang, that's awesome.
So if you're going to learn from anybody, learn from that guy.
Yeah.
But that's it. Just reach out. DM whoever you need to.
And you're probably open to that too. If anybody's interested, they can shoot you a DM, and Adrian can put your
Absolutely.
Instagram handle
Just
in
ask
there.
questions, you know.
Yeah. Especially, I think for a lot of people, I don't know if it's everybody, but they might be hesitant to reach out to somebody that like is well known in the sport. So I think it's a lot more comfortable for them to reach out to somebody like, hey, you know what, Trevor? He's out there working swing shifts and he's doing this for fun. Like, I could relate to him more versus somebody that might be a professional or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, even with Nick though too. Nick, I'm pretty sure he's a welder, and he works
cool.
like 10-hour days, 6 days a week. So like that's how we all relate. Because Central PA, that's all there is.
Yeah.
There's not a big outlet. You know, I mean, if you want to, you can do CrossFit. There's a CrossFit gym down the road, but I mean, I'm not built for CrossFit. I won't do CrossFit.
Yeah, you
So-
found something that works for you.
Exactly. So it's definitely reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out to people because everybody's willing to help. That's my biggest takeaway from. Because my Brody first introduced me. He introduced me to his friend who's been to Nick's, he used to do High and Strong Saturdays and Sundays. Just go up there for like a class when I first went up there, and I was petrified. Like I was thinking like these guys are going to be like big muscle heads, like jocks that are just going to have like a super high ego. It's complete opposite. Everybody in Strongman that I've dealt with and met are the nicest people you ever talk to. So don't be afraid to hesitate. So
Yeah, well, I think you also embody that same attitude and personality. So that community and is really part of the draw, right? I mean, there's the health benefits, there's the nutrition benefits, and then there's the social aspect of it all too. So
Exactly. Even when you go to contests, the guy you're trying to beat is going to give you pointers on what to do.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like you're trying to beat me, but hey, you know what you should do? I didn't do this. What you should try to do is this, because everybody wants to see each other advance and do well.
That's pretty cool.
There's no bad egos that I've ran into at the sport at all.
That's
not
great.
even at contests, nowhere. But
Awesome. Well, Trevor, if there's nothing else you have to say, we super appreciate your time, and we want to wish you the best of luck. Keep hitting PRs. 4 weeks, right, till your next competition. We're going to be watching for you. We'll hook you up with Adrian so he can give you maybe some pointers on getting content. He can do some edits for you.
Whatever you want.
We have resources here for you as a Black Label athlete, and we're just super happy to have you on the team representing our brand and in the community. So thanks for everything.
awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Cool, man. It was nice meeting you.